Oh no. All right, we're live. I don't know what that was about. That's crazy. I thought we just crashed the internet, but I guess not. Holy man. It's I'm recording too frequently. I'm like, bro, I haven't done a live stream in I don't know how long. Let me check. Let me be accurate. Let me see. How about your Dallas Mavericks last night? How you feeling about that?
Yeah. I don't watch the game. I'm much more of a Spurs fan than a Mavericks fan. Um, yeah, I went to law school in San Antonio during the time that it was like Manu and Tony and Duncan. Like it was the dream team. Uh,
Oh my goodness.
I
All right.
did though see that they did not lose, which I think is great.
How about this? I'll be curious about this. Who is, in your opinion, the most underrated Spur during that whole entire run?
Ooh, oh shoot. There's this guy and I can't remember his name, that's how. But he was Australian, and he was an Aboriginal Australian. And so
Talking
he
about Tiago Splitter?
was it Split? Is that his name? No, I think Splitter was from I don't know. I would have to Google it. I don't remember. Law school was
With the
like 10
beard,
years
with the
ago.
I think it's number 5 or something like that, with the beard. He was a shooter. I know exactly what you're
You
talking
know what I'm
about.
talking about? Yes.
Yeah,
And he
yeah,
was
yeah, yeah.
so
Yeah, we're live
good.
right now, you guys. Oh man. I know golly, I know exactly what you're talking about. He used to come
Yeah.
off the bench and light it up.
Yeah, he was awesome. He was a really and I feel like he I know what's his name? Peggy. I feel like there was a P.
Oh, you talking about Patty Mills. Patty Mills. That's
Patty
who you talking
Mills.
about.
That's
Patty
it.
Mills. Freaking Patty
That's what I'm
Mills.
talking about.
Yeah.
Yes. That's
Yeah.
it. I knew there was a P. Yeah,
Let
my
me get this
memory is
water real
terrible,
quick.
especially
Yeah.
with names.
I used to listen. I used to be a huge sports fan. Like sports was my thing, but man, golly. Uh, all right. If you guys
Yeah,
do
it takes
not
a
know
lot of
who we
time.
got, huh? You said it requires a lot of
Oh, I
time.
said being a sports fan is very time consuming. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's too much for
Yeah,
me.
yeah, very. Um. So you want to introduce yourself to the people?
Sure, I'd love to. My name is
All
Lauren
right.
Cadillac, and I'm an attorney in Dallas, Texas. I am a litigation attorney. I do mainly real estate, and I have been practicing for over a decade. I came to watch the YSL trial because of my fascination with the First Amendment right issues and the free, the art and using the lyrics. And ever since I started watching this trial, it's just been an absolute shit show, and I've been enjoying watching the train wreck. I recap the train wreck every Friday at 10 a.m. on my YouTube channel, which is called Cadillac Law.
How did you get the name Cadillac Law? Where did that just derive? Where did that come from? That's
Well,
very different.
I married a man named Joe Cadillac. I had his son. Our son's last name is also Cadillac. And we did eventually divorce, but I kept the name. And so, in the state of Texas, for a very long time, they changed the rule recently. But for a long, long time, your law firm had to have your name. You couldn't call it like the divorce store or something. You couldn't have something like that. So it had to be my name. So I thought Cadillac Law had a nice ring to it, and that's how we came to be.
That is simple, simple, simple. All right, so I have a coterie of lawyers that I confer with when I'm doing all of this stuff, and she just got at it. So we've added Cadillac Law to the roster. So you guys make sure you subscribe to her channel. We're gonna pin it in the comments. If one of the moderators can go ahead and grab her channel and stuff and add that in the comments as well. It's gonna be a very interesting one because I have theories, she has theories. She gave me like I would say, what would you say the percentage of me being right is as far as the law and all that stuff comes to?
It's really, really high. It's really high. You're usually right. I feel like the law is like pretty logical. Like if you think things through, like A plus B equals C, so like C minus B must equal A. Like if you can follow a logical pattern, you can follow the law. You really do that quite well. And there's only a couple times where I'm like, "Ooh, you got that wrong." And usually they're kind of like minutia that if unless you had like gone to law school or maybe been a paralegal for a really, really long time, something like that, you wouldn't like. So I'm gonna say 93.456% of the time.
I've never scored that high in my life. So I did not tell her to say that. She could have came out and be like, "You're very entertaining, but you are wrong." But I like it. She could have did it that way. She did. I did not tell her to do any of this or say anything like that. I really like her channel. She's very engaging, and she wears her passion on her sleeve, which I think, and I think it just depends on how you do it. If you're in a more positive space, cool. If you're in a negative space, like Miss Love tends to do it, then we ain't really feeling it. So it's you know, look right here.
Don't get me started on lying love, y'all. It's she's something else.
So before we get into the big stuff, and you know, some big stuff that we got to discuss, what has been your overall take on the person in the main chair that they call Woody? What has been your take on him?
Okay, so I have to say, like, I watch trials for fun because I'm a nerd. And then, of course, I am a lawyer, so I've been in trials, right? And I've had strange and interesting witnesses on the stand. I've seen strange. If you remember in the Johnny Depp, there was like a witness who smoked a blunt in his car while he was testifying, right? Like, yeah. If you didn't see that, you got to go back and catch. Like, he was in LA, and the trial was in Virginia, so he's testifying like on a work break and literally smoking a blunt during his testimony.
Only in California.
But I have to say, in this trial, these have been the best witnesses. None of the cops or anything, but like the lay people have been my favorite witnesses of all time. I would say that my favorites go with Adrian Bean, no ma'am, Bean first.
I don't recall.
No ma'am, I don't recall. I loved him so much.
That's pretty good.
Then I would say Woody comes. He's so close. Woody might beat Bean. Like, as we see him next week, he might step up. And then Tick, oh my goodness. Tick like laid the landscape for us, right? Like, it was like, this is what's going to be coming. This is pretty great, you know. And then Bean came in, and now we have Woody. And Woody's expressions, Woody's response, like, I have been laughing out loud for the whole week. I had, well, except for the Monday with the stuff with Steele and all that. But every time Woody's up there, I'm just laughing so hard I could cry. When she said, "How old are you?" and he said, "Grown." And then she said, "What does that mean?" And he said, "An adult." I about died.
Can you do the accent? I'm an adult.
Adult. When she said, she played the video and he said YSL was a gang. And he said, no, I said game. Okay, Woody, cool.
Yeah, well, you know what was the funnier part about it was that when he moved her, I didn't even catch it. I didn't even catch when he was like, "Yeah, move where you stink." And I was like, "What the hell?"
Did you get? What about the part where he has the hand symbol and she says, "What is that?" And he says, "It's a 3." And she says, "That's a 3." And he says, "Can you zoom in so she can see it?"
But then you're supposed to be hard to see it.
He's instructing the court. Can you zoom in for her? Oh man. And he is just running over Miss Hilton. I do not know why they have her questioning him. I do not know how the Fulton County DA does not have not a single person that works there that is street smart. You don't have a single lawyer who has any kind of street smarts who could come question this man or help her build her questioning. No, instead they put Miss Hilton, who she failed.
Yeah, we've had that. I won't even say we've had that problem because with my when he did that with the throwing up the Crip killer thing, you have a whole entire list of gang signs that tells you is exactly what they're doing. And literally, I compared the two. I'm like, he's actually right. This actually is not that at all.
Yeah, I think I saw. I think it was you who put a video where you put like the actual gang sign from
Right,
a. Yeah, I saw that. Here's the thing. Woody is smart. Woody is up there playing dumb, but Woody is smart AF. Like even to know to play dumb gives you certain level of intelligence, right? This guy
right,
knows exactly what he's doing. He said it's a three. She said, "Oh, is that a red bandana on your right leg?" Yes. Why are you wearing a red bandana on your right leg? Because I wanted to put a red bandana on my right leg. Like his answers are perfect. He said, "Oh, it's a bird." You know, whatever the symbol was, it's a bird. I mean, like he to me I think he's intelligent. I think he's playing dumb on in a I mean, I think he's doing a great job of playing dumb. But then you
right.
see signs where he's not that dumb. Where he's like, "Yeah, I was telling the cops whatever they wanted so I could go home." Like, he's pretty smart because he knows to tell the cops what they want to hear so that he can get home. Like,
And his explanation was immensely believable. He said he broke down damn near a profile on each officer and how they operate.
100%. 100. And then when she showed him the picture yesterday of a Gaither, and he goes, "It looks like a man to me." I was fell out of my chair. Oh God, Woody.
Yeah, she looked like a man in the picture that I had to use for her. So it's funny because I know which side of the fish she swings from, and I know her role in her relationships, and that's kind of how they try to look like. They try to emulate a man. So
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think she would be offended if she heard that. I think she'd be like, "Oh, good, goal achieved, right? Like that's the style I'm going for." Um, but that didn't take away the fact that it was freaking hilarious. Like I just laughed so hard. Do you see Detective? I see a man.
terrible, freaking terrible.
Terrible. Yeah, terrible.
So here is one of the quote unquote things that I stood by when I said that the judge was not wrong for his ex parte meeting because of how I read it and I interpreted it, but maybe, just maybe, I'm wrong on this. Maybe my reading of it is actually wrong. So I'm gonna just read this out, and then you can tell me how I should be interpreting if I actually am getting it wrong. We had a huge discussion on the channel, and it seemed like my whole entire community just disagreed with me because over here you're allowed to disagree as long as you ain't cussing me out. So when he did the ex parte meeting, my whole curiosity. Let me take this out right now. Let me get to the reasoning as to how I got to where I got to. My whole reasoning was, why would he do this? And then last night, I read a very, very interesting case that he did, and that man has literally, and this is where I say he's probably going to be forced to retire because I found two cases from a while ago where them court reporters did not record what he was reporting. The stuff that he said that the lawyers had seen, each lawyer from both sides said we were not a part of this. That's Leaks versus the state of Georgia. It's like a 2006 case. It was crazy. I'm probably gonna read that one for my next expose video on Glenville. So here we go. It says oh, it's kind of small. God dang it. Assuring fair hearings and averting ex parte communications. Judge shall accord to every person who has a legal interest in a proceeding or that person's lawyer the right to be heard according to law. Judges shall not initiate, permit, or consider ex parte communications or consider other communications made to them outside the presence of the parties or their lawyers concerning a pending proceeding or impending matter, subject to the following exceptions. So, before we go further, that last part right there stuck out to me more than anything. So I'm just kind of laying it out how I got to where I got to. Huh?
What stuck out? The fact that there are exceptions?
Yeah.
Oh, there's exceptions to every law. Every
And
law has codified exceptions.
and
We are
see,
lawyers. Like
there
we,
was so many lawyers the lawyers I'm talking to are like, no, you're wrong. I'm like, Right? No, I'm not. I'm not wrong, but maybe I
But
can be.
every law has exceptions codified. Like I can think of very few that don't have some kind of exception codified, especially when the law is speaking of conduct, how people should conduct themselves, right? Like,
Right.
so okay, all right, but I still disagree with you. But I want to hear you out. So
We'll get it. We'll get into it. We'll get into it.
okay,
So it says where circumstances require ex parte communications are authorized for scheduling, administrative purposes, or emergencies that do not deal with the substantive matters or issues on the merits, provided that a judge reasonably believes that no party will gain a procedural, substantive, or tactical advantage as a result of the ex parte communications, and the judge makes provisions promptly to notify all other parties of the substance of the ex parte communication and gives the parties an opportunity to respond. I swear to you, I
okay,
did not see that promptly part.
yeah, there you go, there you
I did
go,
not see
there
it.
you go.
I did
On his
not
face, he violated
even.
the rule. So, like, what's
Go ahead.
crazy is like he violated the rule on its face, right? The words say you have to tell people. Like, the other thing is, so sometimes there could be a situation, let's say, where a witness who's been sworn in needs to have an ex parte conversation with the judge.
Right.
Now, I can't really imagine why the prosecution would be there, but I could see, like, if that witness had been threatened, let's say, by some of the parties, then that witness and their lawyer should absolutely have a right to privately meet with the judge and say, hey, these people threatened me, right? And they should be able to do that ex parte without the threateners there, right? The problem here is the judge didn't tell anybody. He allowed the prosecution to be in there. And my understanding of the conversation, and my understanding is based off of um, Attorney Weinstein's affidavit. And I said this yesterday on my live. Lawyers are officers of the court. Okay, a sworn affidavit it could be perjury, right? So if you lie in an affidavit, you can suffer the consequences of perjury.
Right.
As an officer of the court, you are expected even further to not perjure, right? So if I
Right.
make an affidavit and I'm swearing to it, you damn well better believe that that is the truth that I believe. Okay, and if someone reads my affidavit, they basically can believe that that's my truth, at least what I witnessed, because I'm an officer of the court and it's a sworn document. Okay.
Right.
So I read Weinstein's. Here's some problems. Apparently, Judge handed Woody copies of the law. Okay. He threatened Woody. He said, if you don't testify, I will hold you in contempt, not just for the 2 years that this trial is going to take, but also for the remainder of all the other people's trials, which, by the way, we're going to take our dear sweet ass time. We're going to take 45-minute, 10-minute breaks. We're
Right.
going to take 2-hour lunches. We're going to take weeks off in between. So you're going to sit in jail while I'm on my comfort break for 26 people. That was the threat. Okay. Then,
Added with, we don't know if they actually requested a speedy trial at all.
well, you don't have to request one because you have a constitutional right to have one.
No, but how we got here so fast is that because if you remember I don't know if you do remember, the YFN trial basically took 5 years.
No, I don't remember because I didn't follow it. I don't think they were
Right.
using lyrics, or if they
So
were, I didn't hear about it.
yeah. So the YFN trial took 5 years because they took their time. And they had what was called Operation Orchid. Paul Howard was in office and all that stuff. So they had to, long story short, they had to get money in order to start doing all of these laws and start hiring a bunch of lawyers and adding on and stuff like that. The YSL trial actually is an amendment right to a speedy trial. I'm saying that.
Well, hold on. I want to make sure you understand the right to a speedy trial and that the audience understands it.
Go ahead.
A right to a speedy trial means that your trial starts quickly.
Yeah.
It does not mean that your trial is completed quickly. So a lot of my viewers have thought, well, you have a right to a speedy trial. Shouldn't it be over by now?
No.
That's not a speedy trial. It's a right to be heard in a short amount, not to have to sit in jail for 8 years and then right? Like
we're on the same page. We're on the same page.
Just making sure.
Yeah, no, hell no. What? No, that's impossible. Nah. So essentially, what I'm saying is with this many people, Before, with lesser people, with the if gang members, took 5 years.
Oh
This
yeah,
is
this is going to be
technically
decades.
2 years.
Yeah, yeah.
So
It's going to be decades. It's going to be
yeah.
decades
So
for
what I'm
all of the
saying
companies.
is I'm saying that we don't even know if the other members have even decided that they're going to use their amendment right of speedy trial.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so another thing that happened in the conversation. So let's say that the judge telling him, you're going to go to jail for the amount of the trial, and that could be years. Let's say that's not a threat. I would take that as a threat, but let's say it's not a threat. Let's say the court says, okay, that's not a threat.
All right.
The next issue is that apparently Miss Hilton told him, well, there's a couple issues. First, Woody stated out loud that he would lie on the stand. And as lawyers, we have an ethical duty to tell the judge when we think someone is going to lie on the stand, and then the judge has to take care of that accordingly. This was not being taken care of accordingly. Woody said, I'm going to lie on the stand, and Hilton, in the presence of the judge, and presumably without any objection from the judge, said to him, I won't prosecute you if you lie on the stand. Well, Woody then, which is totally crazy, right? It's a violation of her ethical duties. It's a violation of the judge's ethical duties to not stop her from saying things like that. So then it went even further, and he said, well, I'll just say that I killed Nut on the stand. And Hilton said, if you say that, I will prosecute you. You can lie, but you can't accept responsibility for killing Nut.
Wait. So all that immunity shit just flew out the window then.
What's the point of the immunity? Exactly. So when they were
Yeah.
first giving him immunity, I was like, cool, he can go on and say he's a leader. He killed all these people. It was all me, because he's completely immune, right? So might as
Right.
well take responsibility for everybody and get everyone to go home early. But in that conversation where Woody was advised it will be many years of jail, if you don't testify, it's many years of jail. If you lie, that's okay. But if you accept responsibility for this murder, then we will prosecute you.
Oh god damn.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's
Yeah,
really
that's
bad. It's really bad. And so, what the judge's role is, like, he's allowing this to happen in his chambers. A true judge, maybe they have this meeting. I don't think so. I would never imagine a Dallas County judge doing any county that I practice in. Maybe they have the meeting in the chambers, okay? But every judge I know, the minute Love says, "Oh, well, you can lie on the stand," no, no, me.
give me 2 seconds. What's going on, man?
What's going on? How you doing?
Man, bless. Glad to have you here. Glad to have you here. Introduce yourself real quick.
Yeah, I'm attorney Timothy Mays from Atlanta, Georgia.
I I'm playing in your background. I don't know if you got in on the phone or anything like that.
Yeah, I did.
Okay, see if you could pause that in the background.
Okay.
I am one of those people who love the sound of my own voice, but not right now.
Yeah.
So this is one of the lawyers that I talk to when I'm having my back and forth and stuff like that. So somebody I actually value their opinion as well. So he already been on the team, and then we just added Cadillac Law to the team. Atlanta in the building. What's going on? That's why when I tell people, I'm like, I talk to people in Atlanta. They just don't know. So Cadillac Law, go ahead and finish, and then tell me I'm gonna ask for your thoughts in a moment.
Well, and actually, I think Tim, nice to meet you. I think
Nice
he
to
will
meet you.
agree with me. I have never met a judge. I have never seen a judge doing their job. I've never even thought about a judge who would allow an attorney to say, I will not prosecute you if you lie on the stand, but I will prosecute you if you accept, or first, I will not prosecute you if you lie on the stand. Tim, I'm sure, I don't know what state you're in, but I'm sure your bar rules require, if you know a witness is going to be lying on the stand, you must go talk to the judge about it privately, let the judge know, and then the judge makes a decision accordingly. The judge in this case did nothing. He sat there. In fact, what he did is, when someone called him out on it, he screamed and yelled and said, how do you know this information that's being parroted, his exact word, parroted, to you?
Yeah.
What do you think? I don't know, Tim. I don't know about you, but I'm like, I couldn't imagine this happening ever.
Well, it's kind of unfortunate, for the legal system in Georgia. When I first heard about the ex parte hearings, meetings or whatever, as a defense attorney, I was shocked. I
Right?
was shocked. Yeah, I was shocked. I was shocked because, in legal terms, we do snapshots in time, right? So the meeting was held before the information was disclosed. We have to get to that
Hmm.
first, you know. But it's very unfortunate for the system.
So, as far as how the judge is going about his duties, because I give the grades. Tim, in your opinion, from what you've seen, this is the grade system over here. I gotta
Yeah,
ask you,
yeah.
where is he standing at?
Man,
Oh
where
shit!
is he standing at, yo?
They want to know if you could talk a little louder too.
Yeah, I can't hear you
Okay.
very well, Tim.
As a defense attorney, I would stand in the position of Mr. Steele. I would be around whatever his opinion is, because I feel like, you know, you have to give notice to the defense when you're going to be in chambers, ex parte, any of these things. I would not want my client to receive a testimony from someone who was in the back or in chambers with the DA and the judge, and I didn't know it. See,
Hmm.
I've thought about this. I think, which it's probably already have come out right now, but I think that when they had the ex parte meetings and people were in there and were told not to tell, I believe Mrs. What's her name, Mrs.
Bumpus,
Bumpus.
right?
She has a duty to tell Lil Woody's lawyer. She has a
Melnick,
duty. She just yeah,
Hmm.
she just standing in. Now,
Mm.
Mr. Now his lawyer, what you say his name is again? My apologies.
Melnick.
Melnick.
Melnick. Mr. Melnick, he wasn't in the meeting. So I'm not sure if there's some sort of violation there or not, you know, because he
Well,
wasn't
Tim,
there.
Tim, I don't know about you, but when I stand in for other lawyers, I'm like this. I'm updating them on my phone left and right. And if
Yeah.
I'm getting hauled into some ex parte meeting as I'm standing in for another lawyer, you better believe I'm texting the shit out of that lawyer,
I
right? Like,
got
dude,
to.
what is going on here? Dude, like I would. So I don't know about you, but I believe that
Yeah.
uh, whatever the first lawyer's name, I can't remember his name, the white guy, I believe
Melnick.
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 I believe she told Melnick, which she has to do.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Melnick told
Still.
Steele. Now,
Mm-hmm.
Tim, are you in Georgia?
I am.
Okay, then I want to know from you, do you feel that once Melnick knew about that meeting, he had an ethical duty to tell Steele and all of the other defense attorneys?
I believe it depends on what Woody's position is.
Okay.
Ah,
Okay.
Now, yeah, because
Mhm.
if Woody's against the state, even though they giving him immunity, he has a responsibility to do what his client asked him to do, as long as it's not frivolous.
Mhm.
So if Woody wanted the information, he has to be able to tell it. He has to be, because if Woody uh, desires to fire somebody, he can fire somebody. If Woody wants to change his allegiance, he can do that.
So Tim,
So
wasn't it? Did you see the part where the judge went in? Woody fired Bumpkus on the stand, on the record. He says she fired, and the
right,
judge said, "Oh no, she needs a 10-day notice."
yeah, yeah.
What do
Well,
you think? Now, me, I'm looking at it. If I'm Bumpkus, I'm mad as shit because now you're holding me hostage, and that's 10 days I can't go make money, right? And I'm
yeah.
literally a hostage. Why do you think he was doing that? He fired her. In every courtroom I've been in, if a client said, "You're fired," then the judge would look at me and be like, "All right, ma'am, have a great day. You're dismissed." Like, that's it. I'm done.
Well, I watched some things that people have talked about on the internet and have given some ideas. A lot of good ideas. People have a lot of good ideas.
Mhm.
Um, so I think that he might have been trying to do that to keep her attached to Woody and maybe the information of what they disclosed in the back, try to keep everything together, because once she leaves, she can go do this and that. It might have opened up, um, it might have opened up something for Mr. Melnick to be able to speak. But as we know, that already happened, or I'm not gonna say it already happened, but you know, it had to happen.
Did you
It
see
had to happen. So
when Melnick was there on Friday? Did you watch Miss Love literally shove him out? First, accuse him of malpractice, and then
Right.
as addressing it, she uses literally her body and shoves him out of the way of the podium.
nah, I didn't get to see
Yeah,
that
she
I
did
part.
didn't
that.
catch that.
Oh yeah, she did it. She did that. She shoves him
Snap.
slowly moves him out from the podium. And I'm just like horrified. I don't know about you, Tim, but no other attorney, even if I'm in a heated battle with them in court, has
Yeah.
ever nudged me out of the way and taken my ability to speak and to confront issues with the judge physically like she did.
Hmm. Yeah.
So on the 25th, on the 25th, she's supposed to come in and basically
It's gonna.
confirm everything that the judge is saying that they did nothing wrong because there's an idea that was floated out, and I want y'all to take on this. There's an idea that's floated out that literally asks the question of did Woody is Woody in fear? Because we do know that you can paint the whole entire quote unquote YSL defense team as a little dirty because one lawyer already got booted off the case for letting Briss on the computer on the laptop and texting and typing people and all this stuff and having communications with individuals he should not have had. And then we had one attorney who used to be a prosecutor and is on the case, prosecuting the case, but he's also on the defense. So I'm wondering if that's the case, what does that mean for the ex parte meeting?
Well, to have it at all is
Look, just
bad,
I
in
mean,
my
look,
opinion.
I'm gonna say like right. Look, Miss Love in her opening statement burden shifted. Okay. So it's an
Right,
automatic mistrial right there. So we shouldn't even be having this conversation. You understand? We shouldn't even be talking
Yeah, you're
about this
right.
because none of the shit after she burden shifted in the opening, nothing should have gone further, right? So when she did that
right.
burden shifting and the judge did absolutely, he said, "Oh, I'll give a jury instruction." I said, "Oh, we're in for a while. Buckle up, folks. Buckle up. This is going to be a crazy ride, and it's not going to be." Hopefully, Tim, you've never experienced anything like this. I certainly haven't because most courtrooms are managed according to the rules and the law. And so we can predict what's going to happen because we know the rules and the law. This is just next level. I wouldn't be able
Thank,
to be in Brian Steele's
thank
shoes by
God
any
he,
means.
thank God, the defense has Brian Steele and those
Harvey,
other
Bruce
individuals over
Harvey.
there because
Mm-hmm.
it really takes a seasoned attorney who's been in court a lot of times and have done a lot of work to be able to stand up like he did to the
Yes.
chief judge, to the
Yes.
chief judge. And I don't know if he could have picked a better person at this point, to be able to, just stand up for what the law says. Because if you get a novice in there or some young person in there, they would have been quit talking a long time ago,
I
and
don't
then
know,
they'd have
Tim.
moved on.
I'm a 13-year lawyer, and I probably would have quit talking too. Like
Yeah,
the judge is an authority is
yeah,
actually the only thing really in my own personal life that is an authority, right? And so
right.
I, I'm speechless. Thug is so lucky to have someone like Steele. My understanding
Yeah.
is Harvey is also a prolific lawyer. The Harvey Rule is named after him.
Hmm.
So I agree with you. If Miss Bumpkus had been in Steele's shoes, this whole
Right.
thing would be completely different, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, Harvey's a legend in Georgia. That's a walking legend from everything I heard about him. Matter of
Mhm.
fact, in the in the case against the cop, because sometimes I'll go deep dive in the cops and stuff like that. He was able to take the words of an officer Tell the officer, thank you. You just proven my case and got the guy off of a murder charge. I'm like, I ain't never heard of nothing like that in my life ever. Not even in a movie. I've never. The closest thing I've ever seen to that was Alex Jones said, "Oh yeah, you've had your what's the old attorney? God, he just like you had your moment, your what's the name moment. It
Oh,
was
You mean OJ's lawyer?
one shining moment.
yeah, but it was God dang, I can't remember what it was.
Yeah, but yeah, it's very unfortunate that this is going on. But I'm glad that everyone is able to see. I'm glad that the Supreme Court is watching. You know, evidently they're watching. They're not just reading what's submitted. Uh, so you know,
How do you say that, Tim? Where do you get that information?
well, you know, by well, the first of all, the case is big, right?
Yeah,
It seems
yeah, of
like
course.
everybody who in the legal field, they've passed through this area before and watched stuff that's going on. And then the Supreme Court obviously did. They came back with a ruling the day
Right.
after it was filed. So I'm just saying, like they're keeping abreast of what's going on. I would venture to say that they're not just reading. They might be watching also. You know, I mean, you don't have just one; you have multiple. So somebody's keeping up with it, watching it, seeing what's going on.
Maybe one of their
Um,
clerks. You know,
yeah, probably so. But
with
this
the
thing is
Supreme
so
Court, they hear
big.
the arguments, but the clerks are really doing the work, right? And they're all 20-year
Yeah,
old, post law graduates. So I
yeah.
agree with you. Definitely, the clerks or someone in there is probably keeping an eye.
Mhm.
Well, think about it this way too. Y'all just had the vice president show up, but ain't nobody giving a damn about that. They all talking about this trial, which is
Right,
hilarious within
right.
itself.
I mean, this
Because the
trial is really a bright and worldwide display of when judges and prosecution, like when our government, when the U.S. government, when our state governments just kind of go wild. So I I think it's actually probably good that everybody's watching.
yeah,
Maybe
it
So
everybody
is.
else.
to get y'all thoughts on this one because they're about to start spamming the mess out of the chat in a minute about the hand signals. It says, "How do attorneys feel about the hand signals?" I had dropped a video. I should have literally put a SETI Nash thing on it. Basically, where it seemed like
I know, man. It's like I hope his ear was itching. I hope her ear was itching. I promise you. I just feel like I hope it wasn't.
That's how
but
The
I
if
way
feel,
it
Tim. Like, it's
if it
allergy
was because I used
season.
to play baseball, so this right here,
yeah, yeah.
yeah. That's throw that curve. But yeah, nah, hold on. So what are your thoughts on that in general? If it's true, if it's true.
Well, at least in this age, in the social media age, you're not going to get anything past the people. So once the people start talking about it, pointing it out, then it gets legs. Now that once it gets legs, people can articulate it. You know, a lot of these crimes are solved because people want justice. So once we see that type of thing, and it's articulated, and then people get and it gets legs. Then what happens is other people who are involved get to see that, and then they might use that information. This is usually how it works. This is usually how it works. I can't count how many times I've had a call from a client, then they send me the video of something that they were involved in, and I use that video like immediately. So this video is not going to be any different. I'm the lawyer, that person is the lawyer, and so when they see these videos, I anticipate people to try to include this information. It's not going to go away.
Hold on real quick before we got 3,500 people in here. If y'all want to add more people, if y'all want to, it's up to y'all. If y'all want to add, double it up. Everybody that can hit the like button and watch it run up another 2,000 individuals. We got two exclusive lawyers on here. Tim Mays, which is one of the men that's in the back pulling the strings whenever I have questions about certain things about law, or sometimes we I won't say a debate but it's just an exchange of ideas where he'll be like, almost, 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 almost. And then we have
Right.
Cadillac Law, who is one of the rising stars of YouTube coming out of this because she's not going to stop here. She's going to be doing a couple of more things, but we're going to be in store. So make sure, please make sure that y'all show our esteemed guest some love and subscribe to the channel because there's a lot of other things she could be doing, but she decided to take time out of her super busy day and spend it with the visionary. So if y'all can extend the courtesy as well and subscribe to her channel, go ahead. Now, go ahead. Your thoughts on that?
Yeah, first, appreciate it. Thank you. Um, okay, so if we find out that in fact they were signaling each other, um, yeah, I do this during my lives all the time. I mean, it is allergy season, guys, and
I
sometimes
couldn't
my nose
resist.
itches, my ears itch too. I mean, if we find out though that in fact is the case, there's going to be like a huge domino effect, and I honestly think that it would have an impact on like judge DA relations across the nation. Because and Tim can speak to this probably better than I can because I'm more of a civil litigator, Tim. But my understanding is that, well, and I know for a fact the judge and the DA is the same signature on their paycheck. Okay. So they are already on the same team. The same income source is feeding them, right? And so my understanding is there's always a little bit of bias on a judge's part that is positive bias towards the prosecution and always a little bit of negative bias towards the defense just by the by the definition of who they are. They are a government employee. So they're all government employees. They're all part of the government. They're all government actors. So my understanding is there's always at least just a smidge of bias, right? And usually my understanding is you don't see it. It's a known smidge of bias, but that's like the smidge of bias that all humans have, right? Like you can't escape that smidge of bias because you are a human. I believe if they find out these folks are actually signaling, even that smidge of bias might start to shift across as a domino effect across our entire nation. There might start to be some more rules and more laws. Well, let's have judges on a separate paycheck. Let's start to do this. Let's start to do that. I think ultimately, when this case is resolved, there's going to be a bunch of reform in Georgia. And if there's not, I will be shocked because your taxpayers over there have spent way too much money on this bullshit as it is. And so if there isn't some kind of reform one way or another, I would be shocked. If we find out they're signaling, I think it will create a change across all United States in every state court, at least. These issues don't arise in federal court, to my understanding. And Tim, you're a defense attorney, so you would know better than me. You can provide more light to that. But as I also understand it, in federal court, it's clean. It's the law. It's a law. It's a law. Period.
Right.
So, Tim, you're better. You're better source for this
Well,
one.
it makes good for TV, makes good for a movie, you
It
know?
does.
Like, but yeah, you're right. In federal court, those judges are appointed for life, and it doesn't. It's not. They're not bound by trying to appease individuals, their constituents, who they're elected from. So yeah, you're right about that. But it's interesting. It's interesting to see where it goes. Where it goes from here. I do believe whatever shenanigans have been going on might slow down
Hmm.
because things in the open. So yeah, it's interesting. Interesting. Very interesting.
So how do y'all feel about this new passion and affinity for the law right now? Because everybody who's a lawyer right now that's on YouTube
Yeah.
is doing thousands of views right now. How do y'all feel that everybody, including myself, is kind of in y'all field right now, kind of just, you know what I'm saying, paying attention and all of this stuff? How do y'all feel about this new passion for the law?
I love it.
Cadillac, go ahead.
I don't think it's a new passion. I mean, there have been podcasters like solving crimes and getting people out of prison for like a decade at least. So I think that Americans should have a passion for the law. Like that is the law is the structure that makes us the great nation that we are. And I think it's great. Like the more people that come and tune in, and the more people that understand the system, the more people that like can be part of the system, the better the system will work, and the less often you'll see judges doing shady shit. So
Right.
to me, I think it's fantastic. I think it's great.
Yeah, I want to applaud you too, Seti, because in my field, you know, my clients never want to go to court. They never want to go see what's going on a day that they're not sitting in the chair beside me.
Mm.
They never do. So how do you get such information? Now that there's a heightened awareness of what's going on in the trial, people, the common person, the common man can learn something about his or her rights. You
Right.
know, they can learn something about your rights because there's no manual at birth that they give you. So you got to spend some time knowing what you can and what you can't say. And so I think it's wonderful. I think it's
Yeah,
wonderful.
and we will have better juries too.
Yeah,
The bias I was just talking about with like the judge and the prosecution, juries come in very biased, thinking that the government is always right. So if the
Right.
government is prosecuting people, they must be guilty, right? And
hmm
we all know that that's totally a lie. That's completely not true. So it's good. The more our people who will potentially serve as jurors learn about these things, the better they will be as jurors. Maybe they'll understand beyond a reasonable doubt is a really high burden. It's a
it is.
really high burden. Those kind of
Yeah,
things. So I think it's better.
yeah.
Yeah.
Somebody,
Okay. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
yeah, beyond a reasonable doubt. I always told myself if I ever got somewhere where I can explain to people what a reasonable doubt, beyond a reasonable doubt is, I would do it. Because if you see me in the court, I'm explaining it to you now. A reasonable doubt. A reasonable doubt is, if it's raining outside and somebody walks in wet, okay, it could be raining outside. That's reasonable. If someone comes in and got sprayed with a water hose, that's real. That's reasonable. But an elephant sucking up water in your front yard and splashing you, nah, that's not a reasonable doubt. So what I'm saying is, it has to be reasonable. Beyond that, it got to be something that could possibly happen. That's what reasonable doubt is. If it's not, then it's beyond that. So that means, nah, that could not possibly happen. This is what
So,
it takes to convict someone.
so we didn't really because you kind of I don't want to say tell in because we really kind of getting into it a little bit. We we were basically discussing the man, the charismatic one right now, Lil Woody.
Yeah,
How do you feel about Woody's? What has he been on the stand? 5 days now? Like
yeah.
what? 6 days or 5 days now? I think it's been six.
6.
It's been 6 days. It's just phone like that. So far, how do you feel about Woody's days on the stand? His testimony, if you will.
That's what the 10 days was about. They thought they thought he was gonna be on the stand by 10 days, so he's gonna have a lawyer. That's why he fired his lawyer, so that's why they can proceed. Period. That's why, because they estimated it was gonna be 10 days, and now that he fired his lawyer, then they can proceed. But if he didn't want to fire that girl, that lawyer, then arguably he needed to have counsel. So his lawyer that he paid, or Mister what's his name,
Melnick.
uh, Melnick. I had to write it down.
Melnick.
Mr. Melnick, it could have been an issue where he needed to be present. So they didn't want that. That's what the 10 days was about, I believe.
So I'm gonna
Anyway,
show.
his yeah,
Oh, go
go
ahead.
ahead.
Go ahead. My bad. My bad. Go ahead.
Yeah, but anyway, his statement is creative. It's creative. He wants to get the immunity, keep the immunity, excuse me. But he also wants to do his best to be able to live peacefully in the hood.
Right.
Yeah, because you can go home, but you know. So I think that's what part of his predicament is to get information out, to not um, want them to remove the immunity, but also I heard someone else say that it is an issue that it's going to approach that uh, when the defense gets to question him, he can't be throwing them like no carrots and can't be helping them out because that might violate his immunity also. You know, if it looks like that you trying to help young thug now, then what happens is the jury will see that, not only see that, but then you up against the immunity being taken and all of that. So it's
You know what's
Woody,
funny?
he's doing his best.
You know what's funny? They
Yeah.
have that right now written in all the plea deals. Every plea deal specifically has that. But I wanna ask y'all a question about this. I want you to hear this video because when I heard it, it was about damn near 2 years ago. And when Miss Love was essentially, I don't want to say she was threatened with going with Melnick saying he's going to the bar, but I think Melnick has a hell of a case because of this right here.
You have a lawyer, so we gotta make sure. I don't want to violate any of your rights. Don't want to do anything. Listen to me. Mr. Melnick's still your attorney, right? Because I was going to see you next week at your bond hearing. You know that, right? Did they tell you that?
You was.
I'm
So
going
it's
to
gonna lock me up next week.
testify in your bond hearing.
What you testify for?
Did we
Wow.
hear the lawyer from years ago be brought up?
Say it again.
So
Did you catch that?
my
Nobody
understanding
caught
of
that?
the law, yeah. So my understanding of the law is that if you have an attorney, they need to stop questioning. So when this
Yeah.
cop is saying Melnick is still your lawyer, she knows he has an attorney. She needs to stop. She needs to call Melnick and get him in there before she keeps questioning. And I don't know if Brian Steele and why Thug's defense can make an argument that anything in that video is fruit of the poisonous tree. But I know if Woody were being prosecuted for anything in that video, his defense certainly could. Tim, do you think Thug's defense could use that?
Well, they probably will use anything that they can. So I'm not saying that it's going to help or hurt, but I definitely believe that they're going to try to use it. Yeah.
But if
I would.
we recall, right, Melnick said to Miss Love, "I'm going to go to the bar because
Mm-hmm.
you violated." Right now,
Mm-hmm.
we know years ago they already knew. It added. Melnick said in June of last year, "I emailed you."
He
Yeah.
We
He
already
did.
know because he has the email. And as long as he has that email, there's a bar grievance, period. And he needs to file it. I hope he files it. I would file it if I had the email. If he sends me the email, I'll do it on his behalf because that is a grievable action. And if anybody needs a grievance to deal with, it's Love the Liar, for sure.
Why do you call Love a liar?
Because she lies. One thing I heard that was really interesting on Monday, I think it was on Monday, when Steele was trying to defend himself. And I wish I wish we had been able to see it because he said something about the Vordaer took 11 months because Miss Love would make shit up about the potential jurors. And Steele specifically
Explain
said something about her saying some potential juror was crying,
explain to the
and they
people what a
weren't crying. She
Vordaer
just
is.
made it up. So Miss Love is Oh, okay. Well, in Texas, we call it voir dire because we don't speak French. But most people call it voir dire. And that is when you are asking potential jurors questions to decide and qualify them to be on the jury.
So yeah, she did. I'll be fair. She's part of the reason why that it took so long for the jury selection, because one thing that Fonnie Willis admitted, she said, and I have video proof of it. I try to get older white ladies in the what's the name in the jury pool. That's who she goes for.
That's who, that's who I
That's
would want if
exactly
I
what she
was
said.
trying this case as well. Yeah, I would want the same thing. She shouldn't
Well,
say
yeah,
it out
that's
loud
okay.
because that's illegal. We're allowed to think it, but we're not allowed to say it. So that's a big no to say that out loud. Um, and I forgot my other piece of thought that I had. Sorry.
Yeah. Well, it's always some sort of strategy when trying to put the jury in the box.
Oh,
Yeah, but
I'm
like
sorry.
you
I remember
said,
now. Miss Love,
go
it
ahead.
turns out, What was that? I'm sorry, Tim.
No, go ahead. I couldn't hear you.
Go ahead. We're
What I
waiting
was
on
going to
you.
say is that Miss Love,
Yeah,
oh,
you good? Go ahead.
Miss Love used to be a juvenile judge. She was a judge. And so Miss Love, having been a judge, still wants to run the courtroom. We see that. We saw her move Melnick. You know, she nods at the judge. She gives the judge signals. She's doing all these things as if she's still a judge. And I really think that she is like diseased with power. I would say drunk on power, but I don't think it's temporary. I think it's a disease. I think it's I'm guessing ever since she was a juvenile judge, she got this feeling and it's carried with her. And so that's why I would argue it's a disease.
It feels
Did you
good.
did you get a chance to see the video I did on her?
No, I didn't watch that one. I watched the one you did with Glanville and the video with his wife. And I noticed that Glanville's wife and Miss Love look a lot alike. Like his wife is maybe 40, 50 pounds heavier than her. And that's about the only difference I can see. So you got this woman in here who already thinks she runs the courtroom. She looks like the judge's wife, and we all know that his wife is running his household. Like we can just tell by the way he behaves in that courtroom that his wife is running his household. So it makes sense that he allows Miss Love to run his courtroom because he sees his wife. Like, oh, I'm not going to argue with her.
Yo.
I'm just saying. Listen, when I was in law school, I had a professor, and she was the juvenile criminal professor. Her and her husband did criminal defense. And so I went during a Christmas break to watch a murder trial they were putting on. And when I got there, I was completely shocked to find out that my professor's husband looked exactly like the dude on Law and Order, Jack something, right? Like the main lawyer character. He looked exactly like him, like twins, doppelganger, okay? And I said, oh, they won. Period. They won. That jury is used to Jack winning cases. So when this man comes in to defend, they see Jack from Law and Order. He's won. He has this huge advantage. He looks like this character on Law and Order that wins. And when we can visually associate, and so when Glanville looks up, he sees a version of his wife.
Yeah, I can see that. I just didn't expect you to go take it there. That's pretty good. I didn't expect you to take it there. But hey, we got 4,000 people in the chat, man. I appreciate y'all spending this freaking early morning with us. So they said you invited to the cookout. Hold up. They said invite Cadillac to the cookout. There we go. Actually, you're doing a meet and greet in Atlanta,
Thank you,
right?
guys. I will not.
You're doing a meet and greet at the trial, right?
I should be if there's a trial. Yeah, but
All right,
I don't believe there will be a trial.
I'm gonna definitely hire Tim before I step foot in that courtroom because I got a feeling I'm going to jail as soon as I step in that courtroom. I just do. I know for a fact they all watch the channel. I 100% know that they watch the channel from the judge to every attorney. And I would like to tell the people, thank you, by the way. We were able to, politicals, I don't care if you're Republican, Democrat, or whatever the hell it is, Trump is going after Fonnie Willis. So whether y'all like him or not, enemy of my enemy is my friend or whatever the hell, listen. The video that we did for that innocent man has been sent up to the right people. So because of y'all, we were able to get in contact with some people and having that case reviewed. So we might be one of the channels that has gotten an innocent man out of a goddamn life sentence. So I would like to appreciate you all because without y'all, whether y'all know it or not, we don't exist.
Right.
We need the people. You guys are the people, you know? So I appreciate you all. I'm glad y'all even took interest in that. So I'm gonna definitely even put out part 2 soon, but I'm gonna have to do it on a live stream because doing 20,000 on that goddamn video is not what I was hoping for. So Tim, I got a curious question.
Okay.
I've read a bunch of cases of Judge Glanville just messing up. And I'll put the other one out tomorrow. Well, no, I have a body cam video dropping tomorrow, but I'll still put something out tomorrow. But do you believe that the judge will be forced to retire? And this is part of my theory, and I didn't get this to Cadillac Law because I wanted her raw reaction because we kind of talked about it, but I didn't give her everything. This is the most expensive trial in Georgia history. Is there a possibility because he fumbled it this bad? It's like fumbling at the 1 yard line at the damn Super Bowl with 10 seconds left on the clock. Still a chance for a minor miracle, but you need a minor miracle. Do you believe that they will force him to retire after this?
Well,
No.
my first answer is no, because he's elected, from my understanding. He's the chief judge. Like, who knows better than him? And if he messing up or allegedly messing up,
We
then
need you a little bit louder, a little bit louder.
yeah, I don't believe that they're gonna force him to resign. I'm not sure if they can. They probably can like discipline him. Someone can probably discipline him, but I don't think they can force him based on that. But I don't know. I really don't know because I don't know all the things that he's messed up on. But this right here is an expensive trial, and I believe that somebody could probably be upset at him about it. But as far as like disbarring him or telling him he can't be a judge anymore when he's elected, I just think it's unlikely.
Mm.
I just don't think it's
He won his reelection primary. He went
Unopposed.
the running against him. So he's not going to be
Yeah.
retiring anytime soon. He's going to get reelected
right.
and he's going to keep doing these things. And his cases are just get overturned at appeals. As he already said, just go overturn it at appeals. He already knows that's going to happen. He's going to keep taking hour-long breaks in the middle of the day on the taxpayer's dime. He's going to keep taking 2-hour lunches on the taxpayer's dollar. He has no reason to change.
All right. Okay. But is there a way to get him removed?
Oh yeah, you can remove any judge if you get two lawyers and go to judicial performance. You can at least raise the issue. But like whether they're gonna be successful or not, I don't know. That's hard to say. But
Mm-hmm.
that's what you do. That's what people do.
Okay.
But you really can't go before a board of judicial. You can't complain about a judge that you're going to be in front of, right? So, like,
Right.
I have a nemesis judge here in Dallas. Can't stand her. I would love to complain of her behavior, but I still practice in that piece of law in that area in that landscape, so I can't. Because when I go complain about her, she'll know it was me, and then that will do a disservice to my future clients, and I'm unwilling to do that. And that
One thing
is
about that though.
really the epitome of bullshit, if you ask me. But that's the way our
Yeah.
system is.
Well, I've practiced in multiple different states. I practiced in Arkansas, I practiced in Mississippi, I practiced in Georgia.
Little bit louder, little bit louder.
Okay. Yeah, I practice in multiple different states pro hop. I practice in Mississippi, I practice in Georgia, I practice in Louisiana and Arkansas. The thing is that I know in Mississippi what happens is you won't be practicing in front of that judge. They have a situation where you know you'll be referred to another judge. It's a process that has to happen, but your cases won't be assigned to that judge. I'm not familiar with the case. I was just an intern when my lead mentor, when he was doing that type of thing, he had confrontation with a. This is how it worked. He had a confrontation with a guy that was on the city council, and the city council guy was a lawyer. So when he became a judge, since they had a conflict, his cases was not given to this guy. He was not. So and you got other judges. So this is probably how it's going to happen. But it does take an order. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure it's going to take an order from somewhere.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm of the belief essentially that next time it's up for him, depending on how much attention he keeps on getting from all these fumbles that the visionaries have been giving me and the laws and stuff that I've been seeing, because
Yeah.
I think he has PTSD personally, and especially with the video that I put out on him. from what I read, he hasn't granted a mistrial since. So
Mhm.
that's a
I
problem.
agree. It
But
is, but here is actually the reason for it. As voters, we don't inquire into who we're voting for. And I don't know if Georgia does straight ticket, but I know in Texas we do straight ticket, and straight ticket is how we end up getting shitty judges. In Texas, we don't send you information about the candidates. When I lived in Arizona, they sent me a whole book and it described each of the candidates, each of the propositions, and I could take it with me. I could be an informed electorate. But in the South, my understanding is they don't want us to be informed when we go vote. And so they don't provide us that type of information. And really, most of us who are living our everyday lives trying to pay our bills and feed our kids and go to soccer or do whatever this is, we don't have time to go research all these judges with, every single judge and every single ruling they've made. And so most people are doing either the straight ticket, or if you're a Democrat, you just hit Democrat, you're a Republican, you just hit all the Republicans. For me, I've gone in and I just voted for all the women before, like, so who knows? The
you gonna
real
say that
issue
before
is how we
Father's Day?
vote. Say what?
I said, you gonna say that before Father's Day? Go ahead. I'm
Oh, I
just
mean, come
messing
on.
with you. Go ahead. Go ahead.
There's an imbalance in the legal system between men and women in power. And so I wanted to, when I voted, try to help rebalance that. And I've learned my error, and I will only vote based on, behavior. But here's the thing. I practice in civil courts. I don't know anything about the criminal judges. I don't know how they're running their courts. And unless I have a friend who practices in their courts and can tell me who to vote for, how am I going to know? And that's the case in every state. That's it. That's why at the Fed they do things right, because we're not voting for them, right? Like at the state, we're voting for them, so we're choosing the wrong people, and they're doing things because they think we want it and they can get reelected.
Exactly.
Okay. So final thoughts on the case. A lawyer's time is very valuable. They literally have taken time out of their days. Tim is with family, and Cadillac Law has a whole bunch of stuff she has to get to today. So we'll do it this way. Ladies first, of course. So, how would you summon up last week? What's your thoughts on just last week in particular, and what do you think is going to happen next week? It's a lot to do, right?
Okay, so I think last week, in a short phrase, is the beginning of the end. On Monday, when Steele was incarcerated by the judge for making a motion, the judge created, by having the ex parte hearing, the judge created reversible error. That is now going to be, all of that is going to be reviewed by the Supreme Court in Steele's contempt. And when they see that that is in fact reversible error, they have to put an end to the case. So I would say last week was the beginning of the end. Next week is going to be more of how the end looks. It's going to be more of Woody, so next week, y'all, like, is going to be comedy. And if you can put that on at work, it will make your workday be happier. I mean, it is going to be hilarity as Woody continues to be direct examined. Maybe they'll get to a point. Maybe Hilton's questioning will finally like show something. There'll be a point that is made. Maybe we can actually learn something, but I highly doubt it. I'm imagining for us viewers, it's just going to be more comedy for 5 days.
I agree. I agree. It's just gonna be more of the same.
So nothing to add to it. Just a lawyer
Nah.
brotherhood, sisterhood thing going on. I peeped the play. It may
Yeah.
say Texas in the back, but that bar card mean more than all that. I got it. I seen it. I seen it. I seen it. So if people want to get in contact with
That
y'all,
flag right there came off the Capitol.
huh?
If y'all need me, if you need a lawyer in Texas, you can call me at 972-845-1200. If you just want to watch a lawyer's recap of this trial, come on Fridays to my YouTube, which is Cadillac Law. I do a live every Friday at 10 a.m. Central.
Yeah. Well, if you want to get in contact with me, I have a couple law partners. I'm shout out to my law partner Kevin Judy in Gwinnett County, Mays and Associates. You can reach out to me there. My other law partner in Mississippi, Ishmael Muhammad. You can reach out to him, or you can reach out to me through Facebook, um, or email, tmaze32 at gmail. Um, but I'm not hard to find. Not hard to find.
And I really do appreciate y'all. Tim, I appreciate you. I be pestering him with so many damn questions. Like I'm
Yeah,
like
bro, it's
that
all
that
good.
kid in the damn pop quiz, pop quiz. Hold on. I'm like that kid that do the press up with the glasses. So I appreciate the time that you've always given me as far as that goes.
You be
Cadillac
knowing
Law,
though.
huh?
You come knowing a lot of time. Most of the time, you come knowing what the real is.
Yeah, but there's always the detractors that scream louder than the supporters. And I highly appreciate y'all even spending time with me and our audience and stuff. And hopefully, y'all get some clients out of this. I already know there's people texting me right now. Oh yeah, I'm about to go to Cadillac Law, and she will be reacting to some of the videos that we do, and she will keep it authentic, like we say around here. So
Yeah.
she feel like, hey, I ain't on point, she gonna call it out, but it's all in love. So if she happen to disagree, y'all just listen to her. That's all. I'm just saying. She disagree with me, just listen to her. That's all. Because that's what the hell I'm doing.
Yeah.
But also, tomorrow, the people y'all wanted this, I had to get some backup for it. So I got Unique Mecca Audio jumping in tomorrow. We're going to do a live stream specifically for the people, with the people. We'll do it in the early morning. So be there 10 o'clock Eastern Standard, 9 Central, but Mountain Time, what the hell is that? 8, and then 6 o'clock on the West. No, 7 o'clock on the West, 8 and whatever. Y'all know what the hell I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
But final thoughts, anything else y'all need to say? Because we're about to get up out of here.
Go vote. Register to vote.
People on Mountain Time do their own math setting.
Yeah.
Yeah, do vote, folks, but vote in an educated manner, please.
Exactly. I mean, it's more people
I
to
mean,
vote
it's
for than
something
just the
y'all, a
president.
lot of folks don't think about, and I know Tim knows this is true. Your local government has way more power over you than the
Yeah.
federal government. So when you're voting locally, that is far more important to you on a day-to-day basis than any stupid presidential election or anything. You should pay attention to your local elections. That's what matters to your life. So
Yeah.
I might disagree on that. I think that's just as important because if we look at just who got elected in the Supreme Court, that was, that had an effect on everybody as far as women's reproductive rights. Because also added with Trump added 276 no, 376 federal judges to the bench. Some of them who never even been a judge before.
There's
So
only
I
one
would say
problem with
that
that.
me personally,
Hmm.
I would say that is just as important, but goddamn it, pay attention to it as much as y'all do with this presidential stuff. But
Yeah. There's only one problem with that. Uh,
the thing is, though,
I hate to be the bearer
yeah,
of bad
go ahead,
news,
Tim.
but like the people, the populace, we don't even elect the president. We're just a persuasive entity. This is how
Yes.
Hillary lost
Mm-hmm.
back in the day. So like she says, it's your local. You elect John that lives across the street. This is going to help you with the streets. It's going to help you with the garbage. It's going to help you with the
potholes,
taxes, all that.
Your
Yeah.
actual life.
Because and then
Yeah.
those Supreme Court justices are nominated by someone we don't vote for. You know what I'm saying? If the president,
Exactly.
he nominates
Exactly.
Supreme Court justice and we didn't vote for him, so it's like some of this stuff is out of our hand.
Mm-hmm.
I just seen a super
And
chat. I
the
didn't get
federal
to.
judges, maybe they weren't judges before, but they're federal judges, so they're going to follow the law. Like it's very rare to have federal judges. But state courts, they kind of do whatever they want. There's a lot of feelings in state court, and we
Yeah,
don't
but
want
see,
that,
that's
right?
interpretation,
So vote
though.
accordingly.
That's interpretation, though. With
No,
all the
that's
stuff we just said
experience.
about Glenville, I mean, he doesn't feel he's wrong. He feels the law's on his side, so it's all interpretation.
Until the Supreme Court
I
get to
hate to say
talking.
this. Yeah, but a lot of times he is right. A lot of his rulings are correct, and he is following the law. But recently, especially in the last, I would say 5 or 6 weeks, he's just really kind of going off as his own. Sadie, you and I talked about this. Feelings are not facts, and judges should not be making rulings on emotion. If the judge doesn't like the law, then they should join the Senate and change the law. The judge needs, whatever the law says, the judge has to apply those facts in the law. And they need to do that, even if we don't like the law. They need to do that so that we as the people can understand what the laws are, and we can understand what results are. We can predict things. That's why the system was created the way it is. So.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, it's a bunch of people hitting me up. All right, so we're gonna end this live. Y'all have a blessed weekend. Happy Father's Day to all the fathers. Ladies, please do not steal this goddamn day from the men. You do not
Yeah.
see single fathers out there saying Happy Mother's Day to me. So if you have a father, and I mean from brothers,
are not fathers. That's right. I hate it when single moms do that. It's not
I hate that's like I'm not. I go to synagogue. I don't go to church, but when I did go to church, I hated Father's Day. I 1,000,000% hated Father's Day because there would be women in there talking about they played the roles and all that, and it's like, did you study the man? Because he raised a dog to be a grown ass goddamn dog, but he ain't raised shit else in his life. He stays with his mom. Like, what the hell are you talking about? She didn't get pregnant by this guy. You don't get rewards for doing that shit for making a bad choice. But happy Father's Day to all the fathers. We got Unique Mecca Audio coming through to help me out with tomorrow, and we'll be having the regular people come on. Y'all don't have ovaries. No, we don't. Cool. Thank you. Sorry, that just popped out of nowhere. But no, I said all fathers. I said all fathers, y'all. I'm not finna do all that race shit, right? Not today. No, not today. But to the brothers that are fathers, to the uncles that are fathers, grandpas who are fathers, coaches who are fathers that get zero love on this day, stepfathers and godfathers and all that stuff, we appreciate you all. We are gone. I will catch you guys in the next one, which will actually be tomorrow.
All right, peace and love.